The Valnari came in silence, as they always did. Their ships were long and smooth, like polished bones gliding through space. They did not fire weapons or shout demands. They simply appeared above Eos Prime, blocked the sun for 3 hours, and then spoke calm, polite, and final. "You are now under the protection of the Volnari hegemony," their broadcast said, in perfect human English. "Resistance is unnecessary. Cooperation is rewarded." Most humans believed it. Eos Prime was a quiet colony farms, research labs, children playing in dome parks under artificial skies. They had no army, only a small security force with stun batons and light drones. When the Valnari landed their silver transports in the capital city, people gathered to watch, curious, hopeful even. They did not expect the gas dot it came at night. Quiet, odorless, a mist that slipped through vents and windows, turning lungs to stone. By dawn, 90% of Eos Prime was dead or dying. Those who survived were rounded up like cattle hands bound, eyes covered, loaded into cages. Lieutenant Mara Reyes was not among them. She had been on patrol in the Western Ridge when the ships arrived. Her squad, 6 others, had tried to send a warning, but their comms fizzled out. By the time she returned to base, it was empty, silent. Only the hum of dying power cells and the smell of burnt plastic remained. She found Captain Dell's body near the command vault. His throat was slit, but his fingers still clutched the data chip. Reyes took it. Then she ran. For 3 days, she moved through ruins. She saw Valnari peacekeepers dragging children into armored wagons. She saw scientists strapped to tables, their skulls opened like fruit. She did not cry. She memorized faces. She counted ships. She recorded everything on the chip. On the 4th night, she reached the old mining outpost Orion 7 deep in the canyon. Its emergency shuttle was still functional. Rusty, leaking fuel, but alive. She bypassed the lock, hot-wired the core, and launched just as Valnari scouts swept the area. The shuttle coughed its way into orbit. Behind her, Eos Prime glowed once green and blue, now stained with smoke and fire. She sent the distress call the moment she cleared the atmosphere. Short, raw, no fancy words. "This is Lieutenant Mara Reyes. UNC. Eos Prime is gone. Valnari did it. They're taking survivors. I have intel. If anyone hears this, send help. Or send hell." Then she shut off all signals and drifted, cold and alone, waiting to be found or forgotten. Far away, in the dark between stars, something heard. It was not a normal ship. It did not blink with running lights or hum with civilian engines. It floated like a tomb forged from iron and vengeance. Its hull was scarred from battles no human had ever spoken of. Its name was painted in faded red letters along the prow. UNC Uri's Wrath. Inside, the bridge was dim. No chatter. No music. Only the steady beep of systems and the slow breath of machines. Captain Elias Voss stood at the center, hands clasped behind his back, eyes fixed on the main display. He was tall, lean, with gray threading through his black hair. His uniform was clean, but his eyes were old. The distress call from Eos Prime played for the 3rd time. Send help. Or send hell. Voss did not flinch. He had heard worse. He had seen Earth's moon shattered during the Third Contact War. He had watched cities burn because aliens thought humans were too emotional to govern themselves. He had buried friends in vacuum-sealed bags because no one came to help. Now, someone had called. "Verify origin," he said. Voice low. "Confirmed," replied the AI, its voice smooth and genderless. "Signal matches UNSC encryption. Source: Ezu Prime, last human colony in Sector 7G. Any other ships nearby?" Negative. Nearest human fleet is 17 light years away. Valnari controlled the entire sector. Voss nodded. He walked to the tactical table. A hologram of Eos Prime appeared, green, peaceful, now marked with red zones of destruction. How long since the attack? 82 hours. Survivors? Unknown. But the lieutenant's biosigns are stable. She's hiding in a derelict shuttle, orbiting debris field Gamma. Voss stared at the image of Rhea's face, tired, angry, alive. He thought of his sister, taken during the Sithra raids. Never found. Never avenged. Prep the ship, he said. Captain, the AI said carefully. The Ara's Wrath has not been authorized for active deployment since the Martian Accords. The Council banned planet killers. Voss turned. His eyes were calm, but something dark moved behind them. The Council also banned crying over graves, he said. We're going. The ship responded like a sleeping beast waking. Power surged through dormant conduits. Reactors flared to life. Deep in the belly of the dreadnought, weapon systems hummed online kinetic lances, plasma forges, antimatter silos. Each one labeled with a simple warning, use only when mercy fails. The crew only, 120 souls, moved without panic. They had trained for this, lived for this. They knew what the Ara's Wrath was. Not a ship. A promise dot outside space bent. Stars stretched into lines. The dreadnought entered slipstream, tearing through the void faster than light. Faster than law, faster than fear. Back on Eos Prime. The Valnari celebrated. High Prefect Ornvex stood on a balcony overlooking the capital. Below, workers cleared bodies. Above, Valnari ships patrolled like vultures. He sipped nectar from a crystal cup and smiled. Humans, he said to his aide, are like weeds, ugly, loud, but easy to pull. They fall back, my lord, the aide said nervously. One escaped. A single insect. Vex waved a hand. Let it crawl. It will die in the cold. No one comes for humans. No one cares. He was wrong. Even now, in the black between galaxies, the Ara's Wrath was closing in. Its path was set. Its engines burned with cold fury. And on its bridge, Captain Voss watched the countdown. 5 hours to Eos Prime, 4 hours to Judgment, 3 hours to fire. The galaxy had forgotten what humanity was capable of. Kindness, yes, but also wrath. Protection, yes, but also punishment. For too long, humans had played the victim, the fool. The pet. Not today. Today. The iron seed would bloom. And the harvest would be ash. The Kethra system hung quiet in the void. Its 3 suns casting long shadows over the Valnari fleet gathered near the inner rim. Hundreds of ships, sleek silver, shaped like curved knives, formed neat lines in space. They looked elegant. Peaceful even. But peace was just another kind of control to the Valnari. High Prefect Ornvex stood on the bridge of his flagship. The radiant hand. He had just received news that the escaped human Lieutenant Rheas had vanished. No signal, no trace. Good, he thought. One less problem. He did not know that something far worse was coming. Far beyond the outer asteroid belt, space twisted. Stars blurred. Then, with a sound like thunder in a vacuum, the Ara's Wrath dropped out of SLIPSTR. EM. It did not sneak in. It did not hide. It simply appeared massive, black, angular, as if carved from the bones of dead gods. Its hull drank the light. Its engines glowed like dying stars. Alarms screamed across every Valnari ship. What is that? Vex demanded. Unknown vessel, his officer stammered. No registry. No flag, but it's broadcasting. On every screen. In every language the Valnari knew, including their own sacred tongue, message played. Return what you stole, or be unmade. Vex laughed. A threat? From one ship? He ordered a response, polite, firm. Identify yourself. You are in protected hegemony space. The reply came 2 seconds later. Humanity. That was all. Vex frowned. Humans? The soft, emotional creatures from Eos Prime? Impossible. Their navy was small. Their ships outdated. They did not build things like that. Still, he sent a warning fleet 30 ships to intercept. Just in case, they never made it halfway. The Ara's Wrath fired first. From its forward array, rods of tungsten long as city blocks shot out at near light speed. They did not explode. They did not need to. They struck with such force that they punched through hulls, engines, and crew quarters like paper. One ship vanished in a puff of vapor. Another split in half, spilling air and bodies into space. Then came the plasma vortex cannons. Blue fire spiraled through the void, melting ships from the inside out. Metal turned to liquid. Crews screamed for less than a second before their lungs boiled. The Volnari fleet scrambled. Fighters launched. Energy beams lashed out. Shields flared. None of it mattered. The Ares Wrath moved like a ghost. It dodged nothing. It didn't need to. Its armor was layered with nanoweave and quantum-hardened steel. Beams bounced off. Missiles detonated harmlessly meters from its hull. Inside the dreadnought, Captain Voss stood calm. His hands rested on the command rail. Around him, crew members worked in silence. Eyes locked on screens, fingers steady on controls. Target their command ship, Voss said. Aye. Sir, replied the weapons officer. A single antimatter warhead launched. Small, quiet. Deadly dot struck the radiant hand amidships. For a moment, nothing happened. Then light. Pure, white, blinding light. The explosion did not just destroy the ship, it erased it. Matter turned to energy. Energy turned to nothing. Where the flagship had floated, there was only empty space and a ripple of heat. Vex was gone before he could scream. The remaining Volnari ships panicked. Some tried to flee. Others fired wildly. A few broadcast surrender codes. The Ares Wrath ignored them all. It turned its gaze toward Kethra's third planet, Velnir 3, the capital world of the sector. Green continents. Blue oceans. Cities of glass and light. Home to over 2 billion beings. Voss looked at the planet. He thought of Eos Prime, of children in cages, of Captain Dell's slit throat. Begin sterilization protocol, he said. No one argued. The dreadnought moved into high orbit. Its weapons shifted. Not to conquer, not to warn. To erase. First came the kinetic lances, dozens of them, fired in a pattern that cracked the planet's crust like an egg. Mountains fell. Oceans rose. Fault lines split entire continents apart. Then, orbital plasma strikes. Not random, precise. They hit power grids, water plants, food centers, and communication hubs. Firestorms bloomed across continents. Skies turned black with ash. Next, the atmospheric burners activated. High-energy beams heated the air itself. Winds howled at hurricane force. Temperatures soared past 300 degrees. Forests burned in minutes. Lakes boiled dry. From space, Velnir 3 stopped looking like a world. It looked like a wound. On the bridge of the Ares Wrath, a young sensor officer swallowed hard. Sir, there are civilian shelters underground. Millions might survive. Voss didn't look at her. The Volnari took humans as lab animals. They gashed cities. They called it protection. He paused. If they wanted mercy, they should have shown some. He gave the final order. Deploy the Terra nullifiers. Deep in the ship's core, 4 devices awakened. Each was the size of a small moonlander, filled with engineered microbes and nanites designed for one purpose: break down all complex organic matter. Not just people, not just animals, everything that lived. They dropped silently through the burning sky. On impact, they spread. Within hours, soil turned to dust. Rivers thickened into sludge. Trees crumbled to gray powder. Even bacteria died. The planet didn't just lose life, it forgot how to hold it by dawn on Vulner 3. There was no dawn. Only smoke and silence. The Ares Wrath hovered above the ruin, its job done. But this was not the end. It was the message far away, in neutral space. Other species watched. The Zara hive mind of insectoid traders paused their convoys. Their elders whispered through pheromone bursts. The humans have sent their death ship. The Maxari Concord, beings of living crystal, dimmed their light cities. Their archives updated a single line: avoid human territory. At all cost. Even the Cathal clan's warriors who bathed in enemy blood sent quiet orders to their raiding fleets: do not touch human worlds. Not even for sport. None of them understood humanity's pain. But they understood fire. And the Ares Wrath burned brighter than any star. Back on the dreadnought, Captain Voss received a new signal. Weak. Encrypted. Human. It was Lieutenant Reyes. She had seen everything from her hiding place in the debris field. Her voice was rough, but steady. You came, she said. We always do, Voss replied. I have more. The Vulnari. They're not just taking people. They're experimenting on humans. Something about our brains. Our resistance. Voss's jaw tightened. Where? Xylos. Prison moon orbiting Helios G9. They're holding survivors there. Voss nodded. Hold tight, Lieutenant. We're coming. He turned to his crew. Set course for Helios G9. The ship obeyed. Engines roared. Space bent again. But before it left the Kethra system, the Ares Wrath did one last thing. It fired a single message probe toward the galactic core. It carried no threats, no demands, just raw data. Video of Eos Prime's fall, audio of Velnari orders, and footage of Velnar 3's end. At the end of the file, a single line of text. This is what happens when you hurt us. Next time, we won't warn you. Then the probe vanished into the dark. The Ares Wrath followed behind it. The Kethra system drifted in ruins. Planet scarred. Ships broken. A graveyard with one tombstone. Here lies the Vulnari hegemony's pride. And ahead, more worlds waited. Some guilty, some innocent. But all now living in fear of the black ship that showed no mercy. Because mercy, as humanity had learned the hard way, was a gift, not a right. And gifts could be taken back. News travels fast in space. Faster than ships. Faster than weapons. Faster than truth. Within days, every major system knew what happened in the Kethra sector. Not from official reports, those were buried by panicking governments, but from whispers. Hacked comes, and that single probe, the Ares Wrath, sent out. It didn't just carry data. It carried fear. In the Jar hives, workers stopped building trade routes near human space. Their queen ordered all contact with humans suspended. Not out of hate, she signaled, but respect for their fire. The Maxari Concord held a silent council. Their crystalline bodies pulsed with low, worried light. One elder suggested sending peace envoys to Earth. Another warned, you do not send flowers to a volcano. Even the Cathar clans, who once laughed at death, now told their young warriors a new rule. If you see a human ship with no lights and black hole run, do not fight, just run. But fear is not the same as understanding. Most aliens still thought humans were weak, emotional, chaotic. They believed the Ares, Wrath was a one-time thing, a freak weapon. A mad captain, a last gasp of a dying species. They were wrong. Deep in human archives, hidden beneath Mars' red dust, there were files. Old files. From the time before the galaxy civilized them. After first contact, humanity had been invited to join the Galactic Coalition. They were eager, hopeful. They shared art, science, even their music. But the Coalition saw only raw material, strong bodies, fast minds, strange emotions that made them unstable. Then came the Reapers of Sithra. They called it harvesting. Took 1 billion humans for neural experiments. Earth begged for help. The Coalition sent a note. Your suffering is regrettable, but your species lacks discipline. Then the Glisten Forcers came. They re-educated human children, rewiring their brains to obey. Millions vanished. Earth screamed. The galaxy shrugged, and the final blow, the shattering. When the Varel Empire, tired of human noise, fired a grav pulse at Earth's moon. It cracked like glass. Debris rained down for months. 30 million died in the fires that followed. After that, humanity stopped asking. They buried their dead. They rebuilt their cities. And in secret, they built something else. The Ares wrath was not a surprise. It was a promise, and Captain Voss was its voice. Now, as the dreadnought sailed toward Helios G9, Voss stood alone in the memorial hall. Rows of nameplates lined the walls, every human lost to alien mercy. His sister's name was there. So was Captain Dell's, freshly added. He didn't speak. He just stood, letting the silence press in. Outside, the ship moved through cold space. Its hull still warm from Velner 3's fire. Its weapons reloaded. Its crew rested but ready. Lieutenant Reyes' signal grew stronger. She had moved closer, hiding behind a shattered freighter. Her voice crackled over a secure channel. They're scared now, she said. I overheard Velnari guards talking. They call your ship the Black Silence. They say it doesn't talk, just kills. Good, Voss replied. But Xylos, it's not just a prison. It's a lab. They're testing something on us. Something about how humans resist mind weapons. They think our pain makes us strong. Voss nodded. That made sense. Humans had endured torture, loss, war, and still fought. Still loved. Still built. To aliens who saw emotion as weakness, it was terrifying. Hold position, he said. We'll be there in 6 hours. He walked back to the bridge. The crew stood as he entered. He waved them to sit. Listen, he said, voice low but clear. We're not here to destroy Xylos. Not yet. We're here for our people. Every one of them. He looked at the tactical map. Xylos was a small moongray, rocky, wrapped in force fields. Guarded by 12 Velmari patrol ships and an orbital defense ring. But beneath that, deep in tunnels, were humans. New plan, Voss said. No full bombardment. We go quiet. We go precise. The crew exchanged glances. This was new. The Ares Wrath was built for fire, not stealth. But they trusted him. Engineers rerouted power. Active sensors shut down. The ship's outer plates cooled to match background radiation. Even its engine hum dropped to a whisper. Like a shadow, the dreadnought slipped into the Helios system. The Velnari saw nothing. On Xylos, guards yawned at their posts. One complained about the cold. Another joked about human meat in the labs. None looked up. Above them, the Ares Wrath drifted into high orbit. Launch drones. Voss ordered. Tiny black machines poured from the hull. Silent. Fast. They slipped past defenses like smoke. Within minutes, they mapped every tunnel, every cell, every guard post. Then came the strike teams. Not soldiers in armor, but drones with stun pulse emitters, EMP grenades, and medkits. They moved through vents, down shafts, into cells. One by one, they freed prisoners. Inside cell block Gamma, a young boy huddled in the corner. His name was Leo. He was 8. Taken from EOS Prime, his arms were bruised from tests. When the drone slid in, he flinched, but it didn't hurt him. It opened the door, played a soft human lullaby, his mother's favorite. Leo cried. Then he followed. Elsewhere, scientists, farmers, teachers, all let out by silent machines. No shots fired. No alarms raised until one guard noticed. He raised his weapon, shouted into his comm. Too late. The Ares Wrath fired, not at the moon, but at the orbital ring. A single railgun round. The ring cracked. Lights died. Shields fell. Chaos erupted. Velnari ships scrambled. But the dreadnought was already moving. It fired warning shots, plasma bursts that vaporized engines but left hulls intact. A message: leave or burn. Most left. The few who stayed were erased. Below, the last humans were loaded onto shuttles. Reyes helped carry the wounded. She looked up once and saw the Ares Wrath hanging in the sky like a shield. She smiled. Back on the bridge, Voss received confirmation. All survivors aboard. 142 souls. Alive. But then new data came in. From Rie's stolen chip and from hacked Velnari servers. They learned the truth. The experiments weren't just about pain. The Velnari were trying to copy something deeper. Something in human DNA that let them hold on to hope, even in hell. They called it the spark. And they believed if they could control it, they could control all emotion in the galaxy. Worse, they had sent samples to the Velnari High Council on Celix Prime. Voss stood very still. So they're not done, he said. No, sir, the AI replied. They're just beginning. Voss looked at the list of names on his screen: survivors, rescued, safe. Then he looked at Celix Prime, glowing on the star map like a jewel. He made his choice. Signal the High Council, he said. The comms officer hesitated. Sir, we're not authorized to do it. A message beamed across the void, direct to the Velnari capital. Release all human captives. And all experiments. Surrender your science fleet. Do this within 12 hours, or your homeworld will be unmade. Silence. Then, from Celix Prime, a reply. Arrogant. Cold. You threaten us with one ship? We have armies. We have ancient weapons. We have gods on our side. Voss didn't answer. He just turned to his weapons officer. Prep the black matter torpedo, he said. And ready the chronoton array. The crew froze. Those weapons had never been used. Not even on Velnir 3, sir. That torpedo could crack a planet's core, someone whispered. I know, Voss said. Let's hope they say yes. But deep down, he knew they wouldn't. Because pride, like fear, is blind. And the Velnari were very, very proud. The Ares Wrath waited in orbit over Xylos, engines idling, weapons hot. Behind it, shuttles carried humans home for the first time in months. Ahead, a storm was coming. And this time, there would be no warnings. The Velnari did not say yes. 12 hours passed. No surrender. No release of prisoners. No end to the experiments. Instead, Celix Prime broadcast a final message across all channels. The hegemony does not bow to barbarians. Come and be erased. Captain Voss did not reply. He did not need to. The Ares Wrath turned toward the Velnari homeworld. Its engines burned blue-white. Its weapons hummed with stored fury. This was not just a rescue anymore. This was judgment. But the Velnari were not waiting. From hidden shipyards near Celix Prime, a new fleet emerged. Not the sleek silver warships of before. These were older, darker, covered in strange symbols that pulsed with sickly light. They had not been built by the Volnari. They had been stolen from dead races. From ruins older than stars, the Volnari called them the Soul Engines. War machines left behind by beings who played with time, space, and minds. The Volnari didn't understand them fully, but they knew how to aim them as the Ares Wrath entered the Celix system. The first weapon fired, it did not launch a missile or a beam. It twisted reality. Space around the dreadnought folded in on itself. Time slowed. Crew members screamed as their hands aged decades in seconds, then reversed. Lights flickered between past and future. The ship's AI stuttered, caught in loops of dead commands. Chrono distortion field, shouted the science officer. They're trying to trap us in a time cage. Voss gripped the command rail. Shut down non-essential systems. Route power to the temporal dampeners. The ship groaned. Metal screamed as it fought against the bending of physics. But human engineers had planned for this. After the shattering, Earth scientists studied alien tech not to copy it, but to break it. The Ares Wrath fired back. Not with weapons, but with pulses of raw chronoton energy, tuned to cancel out the distortion. Like noise-canceling headphones for time itself. The cage shattered. The Volnari fleet blinked in surprise. Then they fired again. This time, it was a soul siphon beam that didn't kill the body, but pulled at the mind. Visions flooded the bridge. Lost loved ones, burning cities, old regrets. One officer fell to his knees, sobbing for a mother long dead. Voss gritted his teeth. He saw his sister again small, holding his hand before the Sithra took her. But he blinked. Hard. Activate neural shields, he ordered. Full mental lockdown. Every human on board wore a thin headband biodampeners designed to block psychic attacks. They didn't stop pain, but they stopped lies. The visions faded. Now, it was the Ares Wrath's turn. It launched 3 things at once. First, drone swarms, tiny, fast, packed with MP charges. They swarmed the enemy ships, frying control systems, leaving them blind. Second, plasma vortex cannons, spinning rings of fire that melted hulls from the inside out. Third, the real weapon, the black matter torpedo. It looked like nothing, a smooth, dark sphere, no bigger than a shuttle. But inside, it held engineered matter that ate gravity itself. It flew toward Celix Prime. The Volnari panicked. They threw everything at it, fighters, beams, shields. Nothing touched it. The torpedo passed through defenses like they were mist. It struck the planet's core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ground trembled. Not an explosion. A collapse. The black matter began to pull everything toward a single point. Rock, metal, air, light, even sound. The planet's core folded in on itself, crushing into a dense knot of nothing. Celix Prime did not burn. It unraveled, mountains sank. Oceans vanished into cracks that never closed. Cities folded like paper. The sky turned black, not from smoke, but because light could no longer escape. In less than 10 minutes. The Volnari homeworld was gone. Not destroyed. Erased. The remaining Volnari ships froze. Their commanders stared at the empty space where their home had been. Some wept, some screamed. One ship self-destructed on purpose. The rest fled. The Ares Wrath did not chase them. It hung in the void. Silent, watching the last light of Celix Prime fade into a small, dark hole, a quiet grave for a proud empire. On the bridge, no one cheered. They were tired. Sad, even. Because they knew this was not victory. It was survival. Captain Voss looked at the empty space on the screen. Then he turned to his crew. Scan for survivors. He said. Not on the planet. There were none. But among the fleeing ships. Among hidden labs. Among off-world colonies. If one human still lived in Volnari hands, they would find them. Minutes later, A signal came through. Weak, but clear. It was from a research station near the system's edge. Codename, Spark 9. The last Velnary lab working on human experiments. Voss didn't hesitate. The Ares Wrath moved. It found the station orbiting a dead moon. Small, hidden, surrounded by escape pods, but empty. The Velnary scientists had run. Inside. They found cages, tables with straps, vials of blood labeled Homo sapiens resilient strain, and one live subject. An old man, thin, bald, eyes wide with fear. He flinched when the rescue team entered. "It's okay," said Reyes, stepping forward. "We're human, like you." The man stared, then whispered, "You came for me?" "Yes," she said. He wept. He was Dr. Aris Thorne, a geneticist from Luna, taken years ago. Forced to help the Velnari understand the spark. He told them everything: how the Velnari believed human emotion was a weapon, how they wanted to bottle it, control it, sell it to other empires. "They thought your pain made you strong," he said, voice shaking. "But it's not the pain. It's the hope after it." Voss listened. Then he nodded. "Take him to the medbay," he told Reyes, "and destroy this place. All of it." The station was blown apart clean, complete. No data left. No samples. No lies. Later, as the Ares Wrath turned toward home, Voss stood alone on the observation deck. Earth was still far, but closer than before. He thought of Celix Prime, of the billions who died. He did not feel joy, only weight. But also resolve, because the galaxy had learned something today. Humans were not kind because they were weak. They were kind because they chose to be. And when that kindness was thrown back in their faces, they remembered what came before civilization. Fire, steel, wrath. And they would use it again, if they had to. Behind him, the ship hummed softly, alive, ready. Somewhere, another colony might be in danger. Another child might be taken. Another line might be told about human weakness. But now, the galaxy knew the truth. When humanity says, "Enough," the stars themselves tremble. And the Ares Wrath? It was just the beginning. The silence after the storm was heavier than the battle itself. The Ares Wrath drifted toward Sol System, its black hull scarred but unbroken. Behind it, the Celix system was empty. No planet, no fleet, no empire. Just a quiet, dark spot in the stars where a civilization had once bragged about its eternal rule. Inside the ship, the rescued humans slept. Some in medical bays, others in empty crew quarters wrapped in warm blankets. Children held stuffed toys made from spare cloth. Elders whispered prayers in old languages. For the first time in months, they were safe. Captain Voss did not sleep. He stood on the observation deck, hands behind his back, watching Earth grow larger on the view screen. Blue, green, alive, still whole. A voice spoke behind him. "They're calling you a monster." He didn't turn. He knew it was Lieutenant Reyes. She carried 2 mugs of real coffee rare on warships, but someone had saved it for a special day. "Who's they?" Voss asked. "The Galactic Council. The Tsar. Even our own Senate." She handed him a mug. "They say you went too far. That you turned planets to dust. That you're no better than the Velnari." Voss took a slow sip. The coffee was bitter. "Good. Did they ask the people in the cages if I went too far?" He said. Reyes didn't answer. She didn't need to. Outside, Earth's orbital docks came into view. Ships moved like busy ants, freighters, science vessels, patrol cutters. Normal life. Peaceful life. They had no idea what had been done to keep it that way. As the Ares Wrath neared, a message came through official, encrypted, from Earth Central Command. "Captain Voss," a stern voice said. You are ordered to power down all weapons. Surrender command codes and prepare for debriefing. Your actions in the Celix system are under review. You may face charges. Voss almost smiled. He knew this dance. After every war, the peacemakers pretend the warriors never mattered. They thank you in secret, scold you in public, and lock your weapons away until they need them again. Comply, he told his comms officer. The dreadnought powered down. Its guns went cold. Its engines idled. It floated like a dead thing. But deep in its core, its eye kept one system running silent, hidden, unlogged. The ship was still ready. Just not for them. Docking was slow. Officers in clean uniforms boarded, faces tight with fear and duty. They took Voss away for questioning. The crew was told to stay put. The rescued civilians were handed over to medical teams. No one thanked them. No medals. No speeches. Just forms to sign and rooms to wait in. But in the shadows, others moved in underground shipyards beneath Mars. Engineers studied the Ares Rath's design, not to copy it, but to build more. Blueprints spread through secure networks. Factories powered up in silence. The first new dreadnought was already under construction. Its name would be Ares Vengeance. Back on Earth, Voss sat alone in a plain room for 3 days. No windows. No news. Just questions. Did you enjoy destroying Celix Prime? Would you do it again? Do you feel remorse? He answered each one the same way. I protected humanity. They didn't understand. How could they? They had never seen a child in a Vulneri lab. Never heard the gas hiss through city vents. Never watched a moon shatter because aliens thought humans were too loud. On the 4th day, they let him go. No charges. No trial. Too much proof of Vulnari crimes. Too many survivors speaking out. But they made it clear. The Ares Rath would not fly again. It would be mothballed, studied, forgotten. Voss walked out into the sunlight. It felt strange on his skin. He went to a small park in Old London. Sat on a bench. Watched kids play, laugh, fight over a ball, cry, then laugh again. That was it. That was what they fought for. Not for glory. Not for revenge. For this messy, loud, beautiful life. He closed his eyes. Then his wrist buzzed. A secure channel. Priority Alpha. He tapped it. A voice calm, scared came through. Captain Voss? This is Outpost Theta 9 near the Mixari border. We're under siege. The Mixari Concord, they say we violated their space. They're boarding. Taking people. They said humans aren't protected anymore. That after Celix, everyone knows you won't come. Voss stood up. Are you still transmitting? He asked. Yes, sir. Low power. Hidden antenna. Good. He looked up at the sky. Hold on, Theta 9. Help is coming. He didn't have a ship. Not officially. But he had a name and a reputation. Within hours, a message spread through human space. Quiet. Fast. Sure. Not from the government. From the people. The Mixari had moved too soon. They believed the stories that humanity's wrath was spent. That the Ares Wrath was the last of its kind. That Earth would beg, not burn. They were wrong. Because while politicians talked, engineers worked, while news channels debated ethics, shipyards welded steel, and while the galaxy celebrated peace, humanity prepared for war. Now, far beyond Mars, something new stirred in the dark. Engines warmed. Shields charged. Weapons locked. The Ares Vengeance was not. Ready almost, but it didn't need to be. Even the rumor of it was enough. As Voss walked back toward the military rail, he passed a public screen. It showed the Mixari Concord's leader speaking. Human aggression will not be tolerated. We acted to preserve galactic order. Voss stopped, watched. Then he kept walking. He knew the truth. Mercy was not weakness. But it had to be earned. And humanity had stopped begging for it centuries ago. Somewhere in the void, the Ari's wrath sat in its dock silent, dark, waiting. But its spirit lived. In every human who refused to kneel. In every child who slept safe tonight. In every new ship rising from the ashes of old pain. The galaxy would learn. Again. And again. Because humanity did not conquer. They endured. And when pushed too far, they erased.